Welcome back to the Teradek booth at NAB 2014, where I'm joined by my technical editor, Matt Allard, on the far left there. Welcome back. Where have you been in the past half hour? You've been sloping off looking at some nice cool gadgets. Okay. And Lance from Rigwheels, who
Hello.
has some very exciting new products to show us. So over to you, Lance.
Well, you know, Rigwheels has been around for 3 years now, and we started off selling just some little wheels that were mainly for people doing DIY projects, which have shipped to more than 90 countries, so it's been really well adopted all around the world, which is great. I've got friends all over the place now, including you.
Including Beijing.
Yeah. But now we have some great new stuff. This is our rail dolly, which has been around for a while, but we've never had a complete system up until this show. What we've developed in the last few months is our collapsible rail system, as well as universal end brackets. So what's a little bit different about Rigwheels system is that you can use any pipe between 1 and 2 inches. You can use square rail if you're using a really big camera rig. Square rail is much more rigid than tube can be. Also, our components are multi-purpose, so the same components that we're using in our rail dolly like this can be reconfigured into a tabletop dolly like this, which is always handy for...
So these are, you've recycled most of these parts here into this, or is all of it? Everything there is there, right?
Yeah, everything, well, besides the large wheels, yeah. So I call it a shared component design, but it's really useful, especially if you're a traveling photographer like I am. You get to use...
Yeah, so for people who don't know, you are a network TV guy,
yeah.
like he and me actually.
I did 225,000 miles last year in about 26 countries. So this stuff is designed from a shooter's perspective for other people like me.
And this is your C300?
That's my C300.
Yeah, this is your other job.
I threw all this stuff from my garage into the airplane to showcase here. So the new part about this system is the collapsible rail and the end brackets, which were announced last week. And you posted a blog post about the new system, and a lot of people really like the concept, especially because transporting long rail is difficult.
Yep,
and if you're flying internationally, it can be hard to find long pipe in remote locations.
And then it never quite works together, you can't stick them together well.
Right.
And what I like you've done here because you've got the end brackets, these aren't actually touching the ground.
Sure.
So they're not rolling around on the surface, they're not getting scraped and damaged and then making that, they don't become smooth once they get scratched up a little bit.
Right,
the joints.
And generally we're putting this up in the air as a suspended rail system.
So you'd have a stand each end or a tripod each end, and it would carry this, no problem.
Yeah, and well, a lot of times we use a tripod on one end because you're often not carrying big, heavy junior stands along with you. So tripods work great. You can also use 2 baby stands on one end, which also works equally well. But the original collapsible rail that we had was 40 inches long.
So when we say original, this is 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Things move quickly at Rigwheels.
Things move very quickly, especially around NAB. So that we have those rail kits, and they're very, very useful. They fit easily, very transportable in the US, but for international markets, you need something even more compact. Dan suggested, or mentioned that he wished...
Actually, in our original report, we said, nice, but wouldn't it be nice if they were a little bit shorter and you could get them into your suitcase?
Absolutely. So we kicked around a few emails and came up with this, and these are 19-inch sections.
Yeah, let's see that.
These are 19-inch sections of collapsible rail. That, 4 of those per side, turns into what you see here, which gives you 6.3 feet of usable rail. Seamless connections. And the best part about this whole rig is the pipe, the brackets, the carriage, the ball adapters all fit in one case. Under 50 pounds, so it's not overweight.
That's pretty impressive. And how much weight can that support?
At this length, you can put 100 pounds on this. I mean, you've maybe seen photos of me sitting on this rail. And the stuff is super solid, and it's future-proof. One thing that's really disappointing about some product is, DSLRs are great, but if you buy a system specifically for a DSLR, eventually a lot of people are going to move on to a bigger camera system, and then a lot of that product doesn't really work anymore.
And
So-
sliders are very limited in terms of the actual movement that you can do
Yeah.
and the type of camera you can put on the top.
Especially if you get a lot of weight, if you get a big camera, it's too much
Yeah.
pressure for those small joints. So this is a very future-proof system that works for small cameras as well as large systems. And
And I take it there's no limit as to how far you can expand this out.
yeah, you can extend this as far out as you need it, up to about 10, 12 feet. You don't need any support underneath.
Wow.
After
okay.
that, you can start putting support brackets.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap this segment up. How much is this setup?
The whole kit here, everything, the rail, the end brackets, the carriage in the box is going to sell between $1,800 and $2,000. We're still waiting for some production pricing on the foam inserts.
When will you be able to buy it?
Month and a half, we're hoping to have all this available. The components are already selling, and you can see that information on rigwheels.com.
It's basically like $2,000 for an entire setup that you can stick in that case there and you can travel with.
Absolutely.
Very impressive.
One more thing to show you quickly, as well as this, our plates are also used as magnetic mounts. These things for travel are awesome. That holds up to 200 pounds.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're
If
very
people want to know
welcome.
more, then go to your website, Rigwheels.
Rigwheels.com, yes.
Or if they're at the show, there's still time to see you. One more day.
C12145, yes.
Okay. We'll be right back after a very short break with Zeiss lenses.